What's going on, FA Nation? Jon Impemba here with James Grande. Welcome into the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS podcast and live stream recording here for Tuesday's 10-game main slate. James, Tuesdays are usually set for the 4-gamers, right? We're generally talking about smaller slates. There's been a couple of Tuesdays this year where we actually didn't even record a podcast or live stream because of the smaller size nature of the slate, but not today. 10 games on the board, big names because a lot of these guys played on Sunday. They had Monday off. Now they're here on the Tuesday slate, rather. Like I said, Luka Doncic, Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, LeBron James, Jason Tatum, John Morant, just top of the tier guys here to build our lineups around for today's 10-gamer.
Yeah, it should be a fun one. I mean, full page, that full front page, if you click on the utils position, all 10K and above.
Yeah.
And I just have to say this, and we can get out of the way and move on afterwards. Like, we see so often players that like get price bumps, and it's like, oh, Giannis is over 12K every slate, and Luka's over 12K every slate.
Luka was 13 at one point. Like,
why in the world, if we're like going to do something like that, where we're pricing players to a point where it's like, okay, they have to have like a ceiling here. Why is Nikola Jokic $600 cheaper than he was last slate when he went for 41, 15, 15, and 88 fantasy points? Yeah. And why is Nikola Jokic $600 cheaper than he was? Now he's gone for 80 plus in 4 of his last 7 games. Like, yeah. Let's be a little more
95
consistent.
Fantasy points just 2 weeks ago. Right? Like,
what are we doing?
Yeah. What we do is we just put him in the lineup. That's what we do.
Oh
we just play him, right? I mean, there were a couple of slates where we're like, you know what? I kind of like Embiid in this spot. Embiid has that same kind of pop. We've seen it, and we have seen it. Embiid gave us 76. He's given us 70 a couple of times. 11-4 against Sacramento, against a Sacramento team with a Sabonis with like a broken hand. I mean, like, this is
a broken hand.
You know, this is going to be another Joker slate where you just kind of build around him, I think.
Yeah, I fully agree. And it's partly due to like, and I'm not saying 11-4 isn't expensive, because it obviously is. He's the second highest priced person on.
But 57 fantasy points is 5x. And he's doing that in his sleep.
Dude, he has averaged 71.6 fantasy points over his last 5 games. Like,
yeah.
I don't understand the algorithm behind it, right?
Yeah.
Like, Luka being 12K every slate, fine. Sure, right? Giannis being 12K is probably too expensive, but he's 12K every slate. Why are we being like handed Jokic on a platter? And I know 11-4 isn't necessarily a platter, but like, I don't know. It just...
Hey, they bumped Tatum up to 11K at one point. We were like, that's a bit much for JT here, you know?
Right.
Like, and
right.
Yeah. You know, the fact that he is 11-4. And listen, I'm obviously championing Jokic here at 11-4. Great spot. Got to plug him in your lineup. You know, if we go to the point guard position, it's not a knock on Luka at 12K, right? Like 2 slates ago, we got 82 from Luka here. He's 12K, plus he's at home. We've talked a lot about the home road splits here for Dallas this season. Luka this year, much better at home, averaging 63 DraftKings points per home game, 34 actual points, shooting better from the floor and from 3 at home this season. You know, he's got a great matchup here against the Knicks. You know, the Knicks are actually a team that's playing pretty well. You know, but they do kind of struggle defending the point guard position here with Jalen Brunson. He's a smaller guy here. A little bit of a revenge narrative for Jalen Brunson in this matchup. We've seen this one already. Luka went for 58 fantasy points in 30 minutes against them. I think that one might have been in Madison Square Garden. You know, so it's just a spot here where I think that we can take advantage of Luka. If you want to spend up, it was in Madison Square Garden in a game that they won by 21. So again, only 29 minutes. Generally, we see Luka play 35. So it could have been another 70 fantasy point game. So both of those guys are your top 2. We don't need to spend a lot more time than we already have discussing the fact that they're the elites of the slate here. If you're going down, John Morant's at home against Phoenix. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's at 10K against San Antonio. Trae Young under 10K against the Pacers team they're on a back-to-back here. Yeah, they got blown out last night by a Pelicans team that had just CJ McCollum and Jonas Valanciunas.
Yep.
LaMelo Ball's on a back-to-back. Big night for him at $9,600. James Harden at 97. Where are you going in this 9 to 10K tier if not playing Luka Doncic?
So I think Ja is fine. I don't think a lot of people get to Ja a lot, and we've seen the last two times things have stayed competitive. Ja Morant has balled 35 and 10 against Denver, 36, 8 and 7 against Golden State on Christmas. So we, getting a Phoenix team that they just blew out a couple games ago. Could that happen again? Sure. There's no Devin Booker in this one. There's no Landry Shamet, who's been their star player lately.
Yeah.
So you can go Ja in tournaments. I think you can get to SGA coming off maybe his best game of the year, at least the best game we've seen from him in a little while. 44 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 17 of 29 shoot from the floor, like just insane. Definitely can get to him. The Spurs are just an absolute elite matchup for anybody. And
they're on a back-to-back too, so who knows who's playing for San Antonio today?
Yeah, who knows who's playing for San Antonio, and who knows, what pops. Yeah, we're going to get popped, obviously. Trey, for tournaments, he's been good lately, scoring the basketball, 31, 37, 34, 26 actual points in his last 4 games. And then Harden's been amazing. So even despite the weird report from Woj in the middle of Christmas,
he was going to leave. Yeah.
Like just the weirdest timing of a tweet, I think maybe of all time. Like what? Harden's been elite. So honestly, like Morant for tournaments, Trey for tournaments, SGA all formats, Harden all formats. And then LaMelo Ball is wild card.
By the way, as we just mentioned about getting popped, news coming down, Keldon Johnson now questionable, Doug McDermott now questionable.
Here we go.
I would imagine a few more status updates will soon be arriving here regarding the Spurs. Devin Vassell probably going to be questionable. Jakob Poeltl on a back-to-back. I mean, it wouldn't shock me to get more updates here while we're recording. James Harden's an interesting one. I think if I didn't play Luka, I would play James Harden here. Because, I mean, we've seen James Harden, back in his Rockets days be a 12K guy. No knock on, obviously, what Joel Embiid is doing, but, if the Wizards are healthy, if they have Beal and Kuzma, and I don't know what we have for Porzingis status.
All healthy.
All good. They can hang with They can hang with Philly, I think, in this game long enough for Harden and Embiid to do damage. So if this is the type of James Harden we're gonna get, I don't mind taking the shot there. Now he's obviously disappointed in other games at the same price point. Detroit, Toronto, Golden State didn't really pay off the tag. But I mean, he's just running good right now. So getting 71 and 67 fantasy points, vintage James Harden here. I wouldn't mind taking the shot there at him for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think you don't have to spend above 10K if you want to spend in this Harden LaMelo Ball range. I think that's perfectly fine.
Below, Tyrese Halliburton, tough game for the Pacers last night. Many thought it would have been a spot where they would have won, given who wasn't playing for the Pelicans. Wasn't the case. He shot just 4 of 12 after going 63 and 52 fantasy points. Good spot where I don't think anybody's going to be on him. De'Aaron Fox at home against Denver. Again, Fox has been pretty good lately as well at $8,400 going up against Jamal Murray. And you've been the one pointing this out, that Denver's defense has not been very good this year. Now, if Sabonis is limited at all, does that put more offensive potential on the shoulders of De'Aaron Fox? I think that's something certainly worthy of consideration there. Jordan Poole without Steph Curry, we know we can always kind of continue to take a look at. And Chris Paul is the other 8K guard on the slate.
Yeah, I mean, I think De'Aaron Fox would definitely be in play. If you remove Sabonis from the floor, and nothing is confirmed about Sabonis' status, so I'm not jumping the gun. I'm just saying if he doesn't play, De'Aaron Fox, 28.8% usage rate, 1.4 fantasy points per minute, so elite numbers there. I would definitely be interested in De'Aaron Fox. Jordan Poole's fine. He's priced appropriately. We saw with Draymond back, look what happens. I mean, he scores 32, but he has 2 assists and 3 rebounds. Like, that's just the Draymond Green effect. Draymond had a double-double with assists and rebounds in the game. So Poole's fine. Halliburton, fine. Chris Paul, no Devin Booker. He's actually been kind of worse without Devin Booker this year, but he did have 17, 16, and 4 last game without Booker.
Denver and against Denver too. Again, bad
against Denver.
The defensive spot there for Denver lacking. So I don't mind it. Definitely a tougher spot if they don't have Booker against Memphis. Memphis could probably shoot them out of the gym here. But again, the way Chris Paul can dish and score a little bit himself there. Clippers are on a back-to-back, so that will be.
John Wall's already out. John Wall already ruled out.
Yeah, John Wall already ruled out. Sabonis did not practice today, so during shoot-around. So
I feel like that's probably going to be like a common theme, right? If they have shoot-around, he's not going to participate
because he's got a broken hand.
Because yes, he's going to actually try to play with whatever he's dealing with. Like it's crazy, but.
Is he just gonna have his hand wrapped up? I guess, right? Like,
maybe he just has a club.
like Jason Pierre-Paul. You know, like,
he's just gonna play with the Jason Pierre-Paul club, but instead, I mean, then he's gonna just try to catch basketballs with one hand. That's good for him.
So Clippers are on a back-to-back. You got Van Vliet, who've been really hit or miss. Couple more hit lately than miss. So. Maybe the matchup against the Clippers is an interesting one for you there. I think I like Siakam a lot, probably in this spot when we get down there. Brunson is questionable to play. I would imagine I would think he would play. He's had the time off, but again, he didn't finish the second half of that game there again on Christmas Day, so something to watch, I guess.
I wonder if that game was more because Philly went on that crazy run in the fourth quarter.
He still played 35 minutes, so I guess what does that even mean? He didn't come back to the game, but
well, it was it got to a point where Niang hit the 4 threes, and then it was 16-17 with 5 minutes left. Yeah. It's is Jalen Brunson gonna make up 15 points? Probably not. So maybe more precautionary than anything, but he is officially listed questionable, so it is something to consider.
Kevin Porter against Boston, not really where we're going to go, but he did pop for 60 last night against your Bulls, so a good day for KPJ there. Russell Westbrook against Orlando, not really giving us a ton of production. The minutes are in the mid-20s here, so not looking to pay the 72 for him. Jamal Murray's not in a bad spot at 71. We know Giddey here against San Antonio, decent. Where are we, without listing every name down here, where are you looking in the mid-tier, guys?
It's probably Murray for me in tournaments. Murray's looked pretty good of late. 41 fantasy points a game over his last 4. 3 of them he's been really good. 1 of them he's been really bad. The assists have been pretty cool pretty cool sight to see for Jamal Murray. 11 and 12 in 2 of his last 3 games. So I like Murray. Rest of the mid tier. Giddey's fine, like you mentioned. I think Trey Jones is someone we can go back to, especially if Keldon Johnson sits and potentially other Spurs. Other than that, I don't love the mid tier. I mean, even when you go down to the lower mid tier, Fultz and Fultz has been good.
Cole Anthony popped for 51 against
Cole Anthony, but then Cole Anthony goes crazy. The Celtics have just decided no, Malcolm Brogdon, we're not going to play you any minutes anymore. All your minutes are going to Derek White.
It's just hot or cold. Whatever one hits their shots to open the game gets on the floor, basically.
It's just infuriating. It's so infuriating. Schroeder is probable, but with LeBron, it's LeBron or bust almost. LeBron, Thomas Bryant or bust. You can get to Cole Anthony, and then here we are at the value tier. So I don't know if I love the mid tier, truthfully. It's after Chris Paul and you mentioned Van Vliet, it's just Jamal Murray or head to value.
Yeah, you probably play Mania quickly, especially if Brunson's out.
Sure.
We'll see, obviously, again, what comes out for San Antonio, but maybe Richardson finds himself in a starting lineup tonight.
They just don't start that guy. They're going to start who scored Malachi Branham scored 20 points last night, 20 actual points.
Yeah.
They're not. Richardson's never going to start again. Pop has no idea. I think Pop is confused on what to do because he's never been in this situation where his team is so bad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I guess if Richardson were to start, I don't think Pop's ever going to do it again. I just don't think he's going to do it.
All right, shooting guard position then. Again, Harden's your top guy. Jaylen Brown Again, I mean, pick the day. Pick the day with Jaylen Brown. He's 92 now. He's cheaper than he's been in the last couple of slates. It is Houston, so great opportunity for him.
Yeah.
Cash games for Jaylen Brown. If you throw him in your GVP and he pops, great. You got the payoff, but I think he's a safe cash game play night in, night out here. We got to figure out what's going to happen with Paul George, but he's $8,600 coming off of a 62 fantasy point game. Granted, overtime. Thankfully, because
that was a miracle.
Absolute miracle over on his points last night there. But then he comes in overtime. Look what he did OT, right? He just went
literally dominant. Yeah,
hit every shot overtime. Got to 62 fantasy points, but has he been playing back to backs? He played 12-7 and 12-8.
Yeah, he's been playing back to backs, and Kawhi's off the injury report for today.
Okay, good to know. So maybe he sits, maybe he doesn't. Kawhi back in Toronto. Little narrative there, but. Again, $8,600 for Paul George is really cheap. Like that's a cheap price for Paul George. So
yeah, it's good. The only thing is it's just like Kawhi 7,900 and has looked more and more like Kawhi lately.
Yeah. No, I love Kawhi. I like Bradley Beal at $7,800. Like
yep.
I feel at one point like under 8K Bradley Beal was a rule that we played. I think under 9K Bradley.
It was under 9K before the Zinger. Before the Zinger days, it was under 9K.
46 and 42 fantasy points there for a spell, and this could be a game where they need him. So, Bane is back for Phoenix. I don't know for Memphis. Not sure how you feel about $7,500 for Desmond Bane here. I know the minutes have been not great, but he's still getting his feet under
blowouts too, and involved in both those games.
Yep, I agree with you there. Clay at 7K.
Nice bars. Yeah, tournaments. We know it's been up and down for Clay for a lot of the year, but it's a great matchup for offense, and maybe he'll carry on the Charlotte legacy that Steph is leaving for. His father played for the Hornets and was like a broadcaster for the Hornets, or is a broadcaster for the Hornets, and so he'll want to do it for his brother Steph Curry.
Yeah. Let's see. Vassell's at 69. Yeah, I heard what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Vassell at 6,900. Again, not bad spot. Jalen Green against Boston. Again, good game for Green, but again, it's against the Celtics.
Vassell went for 50 last night, by the way.
Yeah. What'd you say?
If there's no Keldon Vassell went for.
Yeah, Vassell did. Yeah, he popped.
Yeah, if there's no Keldon, Vassell under 7K. Still, I think that's elite.
I like it. DDV's been the guy we figured he would be when given opportunities. Tough game against Toronto, but other than that, 32, 32, 44, 31. Don't hate that against Charlotte. I like most guys against Charlotte usually. So
yeah, I think like literally, we're gonna see like Moses Moody play 8 minutes and have like 22 fantasy points. Just, Charlotte cannot defend anybody.
No. After that, I don't know. Probably under 6K. I mean, Franz, OG, Bogdan, nothing really special to me there.
Nothing moves the needle there.
Yeah. Hardaway at 58 against the Knicks, a little bit. Huerter at 57 against Denver. I don't mind.
Yep.
I don't know. Lonnie maybe. Lonnie at 53. Any interest there? Bad game last time against Dallas, but been good before that.
Yeah, they need him to score. So like it can't just be LeBron scoring 30 plus and then no one else doing anything else. So
yeah,
Lonnie for tournaments is fine for me.
Anybody else here?
I could see like Malik Monk having a bigger role if Sabonis is out, just like because Malik Monk is multifaceted, he can score and he can pass. Two things they'll need if Sabonis isn't playing. So maybe Malik Monk in tournaments. Austin Reeves has been playing a bunch for the Lakers. 22, 27, 24, 25, 24 fantasy points his last 5 games. Like, very nice floor. We mentioned Nembhard. His minutes took a tumble last night.
Yeah. Is that because Neesmith is active, though?
Yeah, probably because of Neesmith.
Yeah, Neesmith only played 22 minutes in his own right as well there. So
they got blown out. So nobody really played a lot of minutes. I guess then the question, John, is Malachi Branham, 26 minutes, $3,300. We know now there's Spurs on the injury report.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you look at him, you're like, he's not going to go 7-11 from the floor. And then you look at his last 5 games, Shot 63% or better in all 5 of them. Is he viable?
Nah, I need him to take shots. He has to take more shots. That's what he's got to do. So
I agree, but if there's no Keldon or Doug McDermott, there's probably going to be more shots.
Yeah. I listen, if he's starting, I have interest. I'll say that.
Okay.
Anybody else here for you?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Small forward. LBJ is 10-6 against Orlando.
Safe.
Yeah. Cash game play. Tatum at 10-4, probably really good spot for him. Made 60 plus in 3 of the last 5.
We just need Houston to keep it. Houston just, if they can keep it close, Tatum's elite.
If they don't keep it close, it could be because Tatum's dumping 40 on him too.
We saw that in was it the Charlotte game where Tatum had, it was the Charlotte game where they won by like 40 and Tatum had 51 fantasy points in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And that would have been 70 fantasy points in 36 minutes if Yeah, sure. I agree. But that still profiles more as a tournament play.
No, I agree. I mean, they blew out Milwaukee. He had 64. So he's, it could be an interesting thing for him there. Again, mentioned Paul George. Paolo Banchero at 81 is a pretty good spot, even against the Lakers.
Yep.
I like the kid. But you mentioned already, like Kawhi Leonard's your plug and play guy here at 79. Yep. We've been pretty much every slate since he's been playing 30 minutes. We've been like, just you play Kawhi Leonard. What are we doing? Right?
Yep.
Why is he so
he's
cheap?
a 9K player. He's a 9K player.
Yeah, 10K player probably. Right?
Yeah, he's high 9s, low 10s. Yeah, when he's
I'm kind of like starting my lineup already with Leonard and Jokic, and it gives me 5,100 a player. So we'll find some value as we work our way through. Let's see here. Let's see. Toby's been decent, but I don't know if I want to go to him outside of cash games, I guess.
Yeah, probably a little too expensive for me.
Probably a little too expensive.
Maybe some Bridges. No Devin Booker.
Yeah, maybe against Memphis.
Just the shot volume has kind of been down again, right? Like, why is he not taking shots? Devin Booker hasn't played, and he's still not taking shots.
Right. Let's see. Porter's back, but I don't really want to go.
Like the 33 minutes, hate the 11
he's
shots.
Still not.
Another guy.
He's still just sucking, right? Like,
yeah,
he's still not just playing well. Let's see. Bruce Brown's in the low tier. Got a lot of guys that we've talked about already here that aren't really.
Eric Gordon being ruled out could mean more KJ Martin 4,500.
Yeah, let's see the last time Gordon didn't play. Who went into that spot there? Because they have Christopher available to them now too after he was out for a spell.
And I know Jayshawn Tate is
still out. Yeah.
No, I don't think he's officially out. I think the report was that he's going to be ready any day
he's
now.
Out. Tate is out against the Celtics.
Okay, cool.
Nearing return, but won't play Tuesday.
Okay, cool. So in the last game, we just saw this game. Kenyon Martin started.
Okay.
Played 30 minutes. 10, 3, 1, and 3 steals. Terry Eason played 20. They mostly played their starters. And Eason played 20 minutes off the bench. The game prior to that, they started Kenyon Martin. He played 27 minutes. So Kenyon Martin has started each of the last 2 games. Eric Gordon, and let's check this one as well.
Sure.
Kenyon Martin has 3 straight starts, and in this one he had 21 and 15.
Sure.
But there was no Şengün. Keep that in
mind. Okay, so KJ probably in the starting lineup here.
KJ Martin probably starting lineup. Yep.
Not bad at 45. Reeves, I think you mentioned shooting guard, but really playing well right now.
Very safe floor. He's just playing out, getting out there and just being good.
Got 30 minutes out of Damian Lee last game.
It's going to happen again. There's no Shamet. There's no Booker.
So I think that there's some potential for him there as well.
He'll start. I think Damian Lee's going to start. And I'll honestly...
I said Christopher, but I meant Garrison Matthews. I don't know what
Garrison Matthews, okay. I think there's potential just because Phoenix is down Booker, Cameron Payne, and Shamet. I think that we could see not only Damian Lee extended, Josh Okogie extended, and Josh Okogie's had a couple of good games this year as well.
Yeah. I gotta break my brain though because I know what Josh Okogie had been for like 5 years.
Yeah, I mean he stinks. I'm not like sitting here like ever like Josh Okogie's a core play, but they are down a lot of wing players. Like maybe instead Dwayne Washington's a guy that we could go to. He's actually a pretty high volume
Yeah, I mean,
shooter.
remember his Pacers experience last year, right? So,
Dude, look at the last 2 games.
I know.
12 minutes, 8 shots, 10 points, 19 minutes, 15 shots against Memphis. I think that's pretty interesting. 3K, Dwayne Washington.
That's a Sticks tournament lineup if I've ever heard one right there.
Yeah, shout out Sticks if you're out there listening. Dwayne Washington, 3K.
Yep, gonna find his way into a lineup. Small forward we're talking about here. Anybody else for you?
I don't I'm not chasing the Reggie Bullock game. I know he's starting. He's playing a bunch of minutes.
It was so annoying seeing the guys who won that slate and they had like Reggie Bullock and they had like a full stack of that game. Like, who was ever playing Reggie Bullock? Right.
Out
there popping.
I saw the winning lineups, and I did play Connaughton, and I played like him in I think the midday slate.
Yeah.
On Christmas, winning lineup had Connaughton and Bullock, like 2 guys who just
suck generally.
I mean, not like they're like good NBA players, but just not. They don't shoot the basketball, and they both shot the basketball. So not chasing Bullock here.
Power forward. Guys we've talked about again. I like Siakam. He's at 10-1. Popped off for 76 and 68 in 2 games back to back there against Philly and the Knicks. Tough spot against Cleveland, but he still came through with a near triple double, 52 fantasy points. Much easier potentially matchup here for him against the Clippers.
He's a beast.
Yeah, he is a beast. I agree with you. Where else are you going here at the top then? Do you like Randall, Christian Wood getting a lot of playing time now? Where are you going?
Yeah, I mean, I think Randall tournaments at 9,300 is pretty pricey. Dallas good defensively. Super slow-paced team as well. Kuzma, I think, for tournaments with everyone healthy. I mean, still has 350 fantasy point games over his last 4.
Yeah.
So you can play Kuzma. Christian Wood starting. Broke the Christmas Day slate.
He should have been starting this whole time. So
should have been. I mean,
preaching to the choir.
Yeah, you and I have been screaming from the rooftops. I think Luke has been screaming from the rooftops too. Like, play this guy. Complete tournament play though. It's just up and down. Jaren Jackson's a nightmare. Just an absolute nightmare.
Can we? Aaron Gordon, 40 plus in 3 of the 4, including a 51-point game.
Just popped on the injury report.
Did he? Okay.
He's questionable with a shoulder.
Okay.
So
got to refresh my screen then because he's not on there for me.
Just popped.
Okay.
So keep that in mind. But yeah, if he's in, I'm fine with it. If not, some Bruce Brown, maybe some Michael Porter, both in play.
Yep. Mo Wagner's still getting minutes, even though with Wendell Carter back, but I don't know how much longer that will last.
Yeah, they mentioned that there will still be a limit on Wendell Carter, but that's so open-ended. Like,
right.
We can limit him to 33 minutes if we wanted to, or 35 minutes. That's a good limit, you know?
Yeah. So back-to-back good games for PJ Washington. He's at 52, but I never get that guy right. So
never ever. He'll be 2 for 7 tonight if we play him.
Yep, I agree with you. Anybody else here at power forward value-wise for you?
I feel like this Keegan Murray price, like I keep clicking on him thinking something else is gonna, like I'm gonna see something else, and I don't.
Yeah. He doesn't do enough of anything else. He just kind of scores sometimes.
Sometimes. I feel like it's just a product of this Sabonis injury. Yeah. That's all that he's priced at this.
Jalen Williams has been playing 30 minutes at least. It's just, the volume's not going to always be there for him.
Yeah, I think that's probably the struggles playing alongside SGA and playing alongside Giddey. He just doesn't have the ball enough. He's okay. Him, Martin, they're both in play. Like Pokashevsky,
You just
randomly plays.
Really? Just mentioned.
Randomly just plays 40 minutes, right? Or 30 minutes, and he goes for 40 fantasy points. Wild thought that could happen.
If Keldon and McDermott are out, I'll go back to Sohan. I know he sadly did not come through last night. He had an entire fourth quarter to grab 1 rebound and never got there.
Yeah, it's brutal. And he played the minutes too.
Yeah, he played the minutes. Yeah, he was out there. Just Keldon and Vassell and Pretty much everybody else was out there just
Pirtle.
grabbing rebounds around Sirhan. So, but I'd be willing to run back to that matchup if guys are out tonight for sure.
Agreed. I think that's it.
What do you think about Rui? No.
He played a lot of minutes, and everyone's healthy.
Denny's still played a lot of minutes.
True.
Played 27 minutes against Sacramento. Had 21 points.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good basketball player. At least we think he's a good basketball player.
In theory.
In theory, he should be a good basketball player. Maybe one day they'll.
Nobody else though.
Maybe they'll go they'll move Kuzma to small forward, and they'll have Hachimura can start at power forward.
Good. Center spot, we talked Jokic already. Embiid, good. Siakam, we like. I don't know about using Porzingis against Embiid, but Porzingis has largely been pretty good this year.
It's probably a pass, but I understand the tournament appeal because he's averaged 31 actual and 53 fantasy points against Philly this year.
Let's see here. Turner, good price, but not the production hasn't been there. No Capella though for Blend. Does John Collins play more with no Capella tonight? Do you think then?
Probably. John Collins has been because they could just use John Collins as their backup center,
and Hunter's questionable.
Yep. So yes, the answer for me is yes.
Would you play John Collins at 54? I kind of gloss over him at power forward, but
yeah, probably. He's cheaper than Ngakoue. Isn't that interesting? Ngakoue, 5,500, and I know Ngakoue has been pretty good of late. But I just find that interesting that John Collins is cheaper than. I also think just to circle back to, I would play DeAndre Ayton without Devin Booker. 22, 16, 2, 2, and 2 against Jokic.
Yeah.
I would play Ayton with no Booker.
No worry about that one game against Memphis.
What the other day? But he went 9 for 12 from the floor. They just got torched. 21 minutes, 18 points. What could have been potentially.
Right.
I would also go back to Şengün if Robert Williams doesn't play. I know Rob Williams is questionable.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't think I know Horford's good, but I don't think he's at this point in his career shifty enough to stop Şengün.
Yeah.
Şengün might put him in the blender, and we're getting peak Şengün right now. 35, 37, 41, 53 fantasy points last 4 games.
Yeah, I'd be willing to give it a shot.
5,800 is pretty. 50 is pretty cheap.
It's a good number. Tough spot. Just it is a good number.
Tough spot.
Plumlee at 56 again. You can kind of just always throw him in lineups here.
Mm-hmm.
Hard to trust either Collins or Pirtle because they're just sharing the time right now. So can't go there. Would you go Mitrov here against?
When you think there's gonna be foul trouble,
breaking slates, man. Breaking slates. Only 5 shot attempts, but had 45 fantasy points.
Tournaments.
Yeah.
Tournaments only.
Christian Wood is an offensive player.
I know. Well, so is Joel Embiid.
I know.
Joel Embiid is the offensive player.
We didn't talk about. We missed Draymond. Where did Draymond go?
He's in power forward.
Just power forward only.
He's hanging over there. Yeah, power forward only. 5,900. Good price. Yeah. 13, 3 points, 45 fantasy points.
Let's see here. Looney hasn't been playing a bunch, but it's been blowouts. I don't mind Looney against Charlotte if this game is competitive.
Yeah.
He played. Look at the games where he played 28 and 26 minutes, and they were closer games. He had 50 and 31 fantasy points. I think the rebounds keep him in, and it's Charlotte, man.
It's Charlotte. I know. I know, but I know. You're right.
Zubac's all the way to 46 because they just don't play him. So.
Well, and now we're gonna test it. Kawhi is back. Is he gonna play?
34 and 41 minutes the last 2 games, but Kawhi Leonard now in the lineup. So.
What is Toronto doing? I know Chua was upgraded. What's their Dad is playing 15 minutes. Ken Birch didn't play last game. I'm just trying to figure out if they're going to just use like Boucher's not playing. They didn't play him at all last game. Wow. Christian Coloco not playing. Like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Are they just starting Siakam at center again? Because for a little while they were starting Coloco.
Yeah.
They started playing Hernan Gomez like 24 minutes a night. I just don't know what they're doing. If if the Clippers are gonna keep Zubac on the floor, I just don't know.
I agree. All right. Like I said, I got Jokic and Leonard in my lineup here. Already it's 5,100 a player. What was the value? We had a couple of guys that we liked down here, right? We Damian Lee, right? Did we want to go Lee?
Yeah.
Or do we want to play Washington and see if he comes through for us here?
I mean, Washington is going to play minutes.
All right, I like it. Min price guy. We need it on a slate like this. I'll plug him in.
He's going to play minutes just out of necessity with Cameron Payne out, now Booker and Shaman as well.
Okay, well that's with Washington. It's 5,500 a player for point guard, power forward, guard forward, and utility.
Did you have Washington at shooting guard?
Washington at shooting guard, yeah.
Let's see. Point guard. I did not like value point guards. I did not like them.
Yeah, there wasn't a ton there.
Small forward, we have Kawhi. Power forward,
5,500. So let's see. We had
KJ Martin was 45.
Yeah.
Pokusevski was 43.
Reeves at 46.
Reeves is 46. Yeah, he's safe. He's a safe play.
Yep. Okay.
He is a safe play.
Okay. That works. Reeves at 46. I'll throw Washington in at point guard and Reeves in at shooting guard.
Very, very low floor there.
Nah, we're okay. We got Leonard and Jokic. $5,700 for power forward, guard forward, and utility. Let's see here.
At power forward, we could play. I think Pokusevski's going to probably be popular considering what he did last game. KJ Martin probably falls by the wayside because
I'll play Poku. I just never know what he's going to do.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to play 20 minutes. I tweeted it a couple slates ago. Whatever you decide about Pokusevski, you're going to be wrong.
Right.
Like, you're either going to play him and he's not going to play at all, or you're not going to play him and he's going to play 30 minutes and have 40 fantasy points. Like, but I think he's going to be popular.
Okay.
Just because what was the value?
No,
right? What was the clear-cut value?
Damian Lee will probably still be in lineups here.
Sure.
We could play both Washington and Lee.
Fine with it, because okay. I think they both play in blowout scenario.
Right, so we got Poku. All right, so we have $7,200 for forward and the utility.
Did you play Poku in that?
Yep. Yep, I did.
I mean, I would 100% play Vassell if we knew the status of Keldon Johnson. We could play John Collins. We could play.
Let's see. If we do Collins against Pacers at 54 in the 4, that gives us a 9K utility play. Paul George, 86. Do we go?
No, because we're playing Kawhi. No.
Kuzma running it back. Fox against Denver. Beal against Washington.
And then we could go up. Where can we find like $600 or $700 to get LaMelo or Harden? You know?
Yeah. I can't.
We can't.
Can't do that. No.
Unless we move off.
We move off Collins. Move down from Collins.
KJ
you
Martin.
Want Harden or LaMelo? Which one?
I don't. I think they're both elite plays.
Okay.
I think like Harden. Maybe Harden because he's not on a back-to-back.
Okay. So go Harden at the guard spot. We got Lee at forward. And we got a 4,700 util. Quickly, Zubac's, Powell, KJ Martin's at 45. If you think he's gonna be out there.
I mean, he's going to start. At least that's what the sample has suggested. He's started 3 straight times Eric Gordon hasn't played.
Sure.
So.
All right, KJ Martin is in the lineup. So we have Washington, Reeves, Leonard, Poku, Jokic, Harden, Lee, and Martin. Tournament play, ladies and gentlemen. That is a tournament play lineup for everybody. Ray Kuhn has the playbook and the core plays already out for you all. We'll be in the Discord. If you have any questions, we'll see you there, and we'll talk to you guys later.